stage or part of something to another. That's it, very simple. It's a shift, everybody say shift.
Shift.
From one stage or part of something to another.
Right.
Okay? And we always talk about transitions the most. When do we talk about transitions the most in this office? Let's see. Huh? Promotion, yes, but that's not what I'm looking for.
Bill breakdown?
In the bill breakdown, right? We're always talking about those transitional phrases. Today I'm gonna spice it up just a little bit. And I'm gonna be talking about, let me see. Yeah, real quick. Shift from one stage or part of something to another. All right, cool. So we all know the 5 steps, right? Thank you, Keith. Appreciate you. Intro, right? Short story. Presentation. Close. And then the rehash. Thank you. Today, my sales impact is on that gap that happens right in between here. That's a part of the sale. There's like this little space in between here. We're gonna call that the transition. How many of y'all know that that's a part of the sale? Every gap is a part of the conversation, right? So why are we talking about this? Why? We could have been talking about the transition, the bill breakdown, anything we could have been discussing. Why do you think that this is important? Why do you think this little space in here is important enough for us to run an entire sales impact on? Orlando, give me one reason.
So it can be smoother?
So it can be smoother, absolutely. What do you say, Carl? Why am I taking this whole time to talk about this little gap? Mind you, it only lasts for like about, depending on how many times you guys send them back, but usually it's not a long time. Why would I be talking about this?
It's probably what draws them in.
It's probably this gap right here?
The transition, right?
That transition in there? Okay, I'll take that. It's probably what draws them in. One more answer. Brandon.
I would say because this is where you're about to learn presentation. This is where you're giving them the information and now you're needing something from them.
Okay, one clap for that. I'll tell you why I'm spending so much time on this little space. And I want you guys to write it down. It's 3 main reasons why. The first reason is that I'm talking about this is because there's no such time as idle time. There's no such thing as idle time at the door. I'll say that again. There's no such thing as idle time at the door. You know idle time, that's like twiddling your hair, scrolling through. There's no such thing as idle time at the door. That's the first reason why I'm spending so much time on this little segment. Second reason, it's the transitions that allow you to stay in control of your sale. So control, I'm talking about this because this connects directly to the 8th habit of a winner, which is what? Which is what? Stay in control. Stay in control, right? And then the third reason why I'm talking about this little small space in here is so that we can maximize when we're at the doors and on the field. Everybody say maximize.
Maximize.
So we know why we're talking about this right now, right? It connects directly to you being in control. There's no such thing as idle time at the doors. And third, you're gonna maximize your time when you are with a customer. Juice by that?
Juice.
Okay, cool. So how do we actually use this time? How should we be using this small little time that we know is very significant? How are we using it, Jamal?
We should be trying to get everything prepared so when they do come back, we have the phone number ready or ready to get into the bill breakdown.
100%. One clap for that. Anybody else? What about you? Friends, how are we using that time? How do we use this transition time?
Basically, I keep it short and try not to overdo it.
What do you mean, keep it short? This is a time where they're going to get the bill. You're just standing there. When you say keep it short, what do you mean?
I mean, change fast. You gotta be really fast instead of using like basically doing my time.
Okay, let me go back real quick, just so you guys know what's happening in this moment, right? In this moment, I told the customer, go get the bill, and they went to go get the bill, and now I'm standing here. This is that transition between, because as soon as they come back, guess what happens? Lights, camera, action. I gotta present this whole bill to them, right? So this moment in between is when they're not there and I'm just standing there. So how do we utilize that time? Jamal said preparing yourself. Great answer. What do you say back?
To piggyback, during that time, I always try to assume the sale. I do all the things that I'm gonna need to do in the application, and even I got this from Mike. You can even pull out your pamphlet and start game planning what you're gonna utilize to move the sales conversation forward.
Juice.
You can pull up a power plant thing on the website, just get ready to continue.
One clap for that.
By that,
So the
Yeah.
trick in this time, remember, you're in control, right? When you're in control, you are assuming that what? What am I assuming? If I'm in control, if you go get that bill, what am I assuming?
The sale.
The sale. I know there's different opinions, but if you ask me, the hardest part is them going to get the bill. Once you bring the bill back, I pretty much got the sale in my pocket. It's building that trust that's hard. So if you go in your house, guess what, Joy? I know in my head, I'm like, it's about to go down, right? So how am I doing this? I'm gonna tell you guys a few things. Please write this down if you don't know it, and write it down if you do know it, because you may need to use it in the future. First thing I'm doing is I'm making sure that I go to sale, right? On interface, go to sale and have the application open. Right, that's what you're doing. When they go get that bill, you go to a sale, application open. You're taking the contract ID from the application and you're transferring it over to ABC. This is the perfect time to see if ABC logs you out, because it will be super embarrassing. You trying to put that information in and you gotta relog back into ABC. Remember, we're maximizing time. Everybody say maximize.
Maximize.
We're trying to maximize our time. So I'm taking the contract ID, I'm putting it into my ABC, and I'm also verifying that I have not been logged out of ABC as of yet. Juice by that?
Juice.
What else am I doing? I am mentally preparing myself.
Right. Be ahead of the time.
Okay? Yes, being ahead of time. So when I say mentally preparing myself, I mean that I am mentally getting ready for the customer to come back, because it's game time. Right? I did the hard part. Now, depending on, I'm trying to figure out, okay, what approach am I going to use with this customer? She seemed pretty smart. Now I know I got to know my A game. Let me just go through my facts real quick, make sure I got everything up and running. Or this customer's a yes customer. Let me relax a little bit. Let me breathe. You know what I mean? Depending on what type of person they were, will determine what your approach has to look like. Sometimes you got to be more assertive. Sometimes you can be a little bit more nice. Sometimes you got to be, with some customers, you may realize that you have to be more demanding. Like, just tell them what to do. You know what I mean? Like, okay, this is one of those people, I'm gonna have to just tell them what to do and get it over with, right? But in that time, in this transition, that's when you're deciding how everything is gonna go. And you're also reviewing your pitch, make sure that your thing is up to par, practice it a few times if you have the time. But the overall idea is that you want to make sure that you are ready when that bill comes back. Not only are you ready, you're in control, you're maximizing your time, it's going to go smoothly, you don't got to wait for nothing else, and you're closing the deals. Juice by that?
Juice.
My name is Shayna, and that is my sales impact.
Juice.